What do we focus on in our thoughts, with our minds? Quite often our minds are filled with what I call bad thoughts. And by bad, I don't mean filthy thoughts, irreligious thoughts. I mean thoughts which debilitate us, which cause us stress and anxiety, thoughts which cause our spirits to shrink and our minds to tremble. These are bad thoughts. These are unhealthy thoughts. And ironically, the more we try to fight these thoughts, the greater they become. I remember one time at a psychological test, it was the white bear test, the white polar bear test. And it went like this. I'm going to do it with you right now. In the remaining 15 minutes of this service, do not think about a white polar bear. Do not think about that white polar bear. Now, I'm going to ask you later on, a few of you, how many of you thought about the white polar bear? And probably most of you. Instead of fighting the thoughts, Paul says we need to replace the thoughts with higher thoughts, with fine thoughts. If anything is excellent, if anything is praiseworthy, if anything is edifying, focus. The word there, literally in the Greek, means focus. Cast your attention. Focus your thoughts on these things, and the peace of God, which passes understanding, will guard your minds. The peace of God will build a fence, a gate around your minds. The peace of God will build a moat around your minds. The peace of God will bring you a different kind of life. So, focus on the finer things, not on the things which bring you worry and anxiety, and over which you probably have no control anyway. Don't let your mind go there all the time. Don't let your rituals and habits go there all the time. Don't keep checking the stock market. Don't keep rehearsing the past. Don't keep nursing the wound. Don't keep picking the scab. What do you expect? Put your mind in another place. When we do this, when we focus on the finer things, it's kind of an act of defiant faith, and it tells, we're telling ourselves, regardless of how I feel at any given moment, or regardless of how bleak things look, there is another reality. There's more to life than meets the eye. So this is my little Philippian formula for finding peace. Don't forget to live with a loose grip on life. Don't forget that life is a gift to be freely received and not a reward. And don't forget to focus on the finer things. Now we're going to share around the table today our communion table, which is open to anyone whose heart is open. You don't have to be a church member. And ironically, to me, this represents what I was talking about. It represents the letting go, which is symbolized in the crucifixion and the resurrection, the death to self, the death to self-control of our lives, the letting go, the giving over. And then the second part of the supper is the Eucharist. We don't really call it the Eucharist here, we call it something else, but the word literally means to give thanks. To give thanks for every day, to celebrate life, and to remember that God is always with us. So the letting go and the giving thanks, I think is an appropriate way to end our service today, and we invite you to do that. I'm going to have